So the Big Bang Theory and Genesis. Is it possible to believe in both? I believe it is. And I believe in intelligent design. And this is a follow-up to my previous video, which I recommend going back and watching. I did it just a few nights ago on the origins of, called it the origins of life. And basically, I was talking about how I realized when I was rereading Genesis, and this was several years ago. This isn't something I've just done overnight. This is something I've been looking into and researching for several years, on and off. And I had not heard of intelligent design prior to the experience that I described in the other video, where I was reading Genesis and I realized that the sun and the moon were not created until the fourth day. So how could there be a 24-hour day? We don't know what a day was to God. So in the Hebrew word for day is actually an age or a period of time. And I did fact check that with a rabbi at the time. Well, a friend of mine that had studied to be a rabbi. So, and I used to bounce things off of him all the time. He was an older guy. He was like my adopted, I started calling him like an adopted uncle. But anyways, the reason I say that is when I started to, once I realized that it could have been longer than a 24-hour day, because we don't know what a day is, God, because there's the verse in the Bible that says that, you know, 1,000 years is as a day, and a day is to 1,000 years to the Lord. And I believe that was in 2 Timothy 3:8. I did say it in the previous video, and I'm going to bring up my notes here in a second. But I'm going to go back and just read something. And then as I went back and I started literally pulling out my encyclopedias, and yes, I am that kind of a geek that actually has encyclopedias and different books and stuff. And, you know, back then this was prior to, you know, Google wasn't what it is today when I was researching this. So in the beginning, then this is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now, I started thinking about the Big Bang Theory, and I stated in my previous video that I had studied nuclear reactors when I was younger. Now, granted, this was a long time ago. They've come a long way. But at the time, the way that they worked was that you needed certain things to have a nuclear reaction. You need the right elements, like uranium. There's water involved, like water vapor. So you have this atom that is in the nuclear reactor, and basically they have to charge the ions and stuff that are in the nuclear reactor, and so they have to speed it up. So they have to speed it up. And one of the elements that is necessary is like also nitrogen, and we know that the atmosphere, the earth, everything is very rich in nitrogen. It's like 78% nitrogen still to this day. And the crazy thing, and I don't know that this has any significance, but to me, I thought it was interesting, on the periodic table, the number for nitrogen is 7, because there's 7 protons, 7 neutrons, 7 electrons. So they're the 3 that make up the atom, and then it's 7 of each. And we know the number of perfection is 7, and that the trinity is 3. And we know we need nitrogen for photosynthesis. So that's just a side note I found very interesting, because I'm a geek. And so what happens is they have to get it moving. It has to start spinning, and because there needs to be to charge the atmosphere within the nuclear reactor, and they get everything moving very quickly, and there has to be water vapor as well. So everything's moving, and then there has to be a catalyst. And the catalyst basically is this quick charge of like burst of energy, and it's now they use a neuron, and it hits the atom and it splits it, and that's what creates the bang. So because I had that knowledge, and because I had, learned the Big Bang Theory and stuff in school, when I was reading this, and I did pull out my concordance, and I was looking up the words in the original Hebrew, because I also have a Greek Aramaic and Hebrew dictionary. And I have encyclopedias, I have my concordance, I have the Greek and Hebrew dictionary, I have my encyclopedias, and I'm like, got all this stuff comparing. And it says, so in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So I started getting this picture of like Moses. Like you have to understand, Moses was, I think, roughly, different people have different guesses as far as what time frame it was, but we're talking like 1500 BCE. And I can double check that time frame, but I from historical videos and things that I've watched, I believe that's a pretty good rough estimate. So Moses, not having any understanding of atoms or neutrons or electrons or energy or mass or quantum physics or any of the knowledge that we have today of the universe and the cosmos, it's pretty amazing that everything, when you go down, lines up in order with not just the Big Bang Theory, but the order that we know that things progressed in evolution as well. And it's probably going to take another video to go into that. But so God created the heavens and the earth, and I started this picture. So when God created the heavens and the earth, but the earth was out form and void. So when I looked that up, like in the original Hebrew, you've got a picture. It's like space. It's like nothingness. It's like all the elements were there, but nothing was formed. So you've got God, and He created the heavens and the earth, and He basically put everything into place. He created, because He's the creator, everything that was needed for life. And darkness was over the face of the deep. Now that word deep is not deep as in like ocean, like deep water. That word deep is actually like the deep, like the great unknown, like mysterious. It's like the deep that, if you're looking out into the universe, that's what Moses was actually describing. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And I started thinking about it. When does water look like a face? And all of a sudden I realized it's clouds, like it's a mist. Everything was there, the elements. And when you look, it's like when you look up at a cloud and you see a face in the cloud. That's what I was seeing. Now, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Well, that light was not the sun, because He didn't create the sun and the moon until the fourth day. So that light was actually the bang. That was God. God was the catalyst. That was His light. He said, let there be light. And He saw that it was good. And that was the picture like I got in my mind, like basically when I started thinking about the Big Bang and how it works. You have to have a catalyst. That is also this whole theory of like relativity, like an object and inertia. So like an object in motion will stay in motion unless it's like gravity or something comes in its way and stops it. An object at rest will stay at rest. Everything has to have an opposite and equal reaction. And also, you can't have, nothing can happen for actually absolutely no reason. Something has to put it into motion. God was a catalyst. He put everything into motion. Boom. And that's just the very beginning. I got a lot more. Those are my late night thoughts.